I'm Lucy Hoyle, I'm a feline behaviourist and author. Make sure you subscribe to hear more of my jibber jabber on cat behaviour. So today I'm talking about hunting and how we can get cats to stop hunting. It's such a horrible part of cat ownership, and if you have a hunter in your home, I really feel for you because it's such a horrible problem to live with. I'm very lucky that Fig and Sparks don't hunt, but my neighbours' cats do, so we are often met with prey on the driveway. So the main way, or the most reliable way you can stop your cat from hunting, is to keep them inside. Now, I don't advocate on either side whether or not cats should be kept in or cats should be allowed free rein outside. I know that's a massively hotly debated topic. I come down in the middle. If it works for your cat in that specific environment, then go for it. If not, then that's fine too. So I wouldn't recommend this across the board, but if you have a cat that is comfortable being inside, isn't desperate to go outside, then that will 100% stop the hunting from happening. So that is something to bear in mind. However, if you do have a hunter, what you'll probably find is that they are motivated to go out more so than cats that don't hunt, because that isn't an additional motivation to get them outside. So it may not work for everyone. What you could think about is limiting their access outside. So generally prey species tend to be active during dawn and dusk, and that's when cats are most active and doing a lot of their hunting. So you might think that you'll get them in before dark and let them out after it gets light in the morning or something like that. But again, make sure it works for your cat, make sure they're used to this routine, or they're gonna adapt okay if you're changing their routine, and just get ready for a burst of frustration if you are making changes there. Another option is to think about cat-proofing the garden. So if you have an outside space that you can use cat-proof fencing to keep your cat inside the garden, that can really help with hunting behaviour. So yes, of course they can still hunt if something comes into the garden, but it's going to limit their hunting range, and it gives the opportunity for the prey to get out of the cat's reach. ProtectaPet are fantastic for that, so I recommend, that's a company that I recommend, and they can help you with any outside space, so check out their website. Another thing is to think about, there are collars you can buy that stop cats from hunting. So an example is a collar with a bell, and the bell just gives the prey species a little bit of a heads up that they're there and can help give them an opportunity to get away before they're caught. Just a few things to bear in mind with this though. Make sure it's a quick release collar, because we don't want your cat getting stuck anywhere. And my cat once got her claw stuck in the little slit on the bell, so just be careful about that. Maybe make sure it's a really, really little bell, so the claw doesn't fit inside the little gap, and just keep that in mind. But if your cat isn't used to wearing a collar as well, that sometimes it can be difficult to get them used to that, so we'll have to gradually introduce that to their lives and not just whack it on and hope for the best. Another thing is to make sure that you're playing with your cat loads and loads and loads. So play is a replication of hunting, and when they're playing with toys, you'll notice that they're doing the exact same behaviours that they do when they're hunting. So they'll be stalking it, they'll be pouncing on it, chasing it, biting it, everything that they do when they're hunting. So we can really help give them an outlet for that behaviour. And this is really, really important if you are deciding to keep your cat inside, because they are still going to want to perform these behaviours, and then you're responsible for making sure that they have the outlet to do that, and so they're not getting all frustrated and worked up. So make sure if you've got plenty of toys, well, make sure you do have plenty of toys, and make sure that you are moving them around as well, because if they're just lying around on the floor, then they're essentially dead prey. And people will always say to me that they've got hundreds of toys and they're just never played with, and that's normally because they're not being moved around that way. So make sure that you've got fishing rod toys, wand toys that you can wave around and give them something to chase, and it's often a good idea to make sure that whatever's on the end, they can bite down on it. So something soft like a stuffed mouse, or something feathery like something with feathers stuffed into it, and then it can really help motivate them and get them hunting inside the house. Things like ping pong balls are really good in that they can chase them, but they don't give them the opportunity to bite down on it. So think about the toys you have and make sure there's a range of different toys. So something they can chase, something they can bite, something that they can bat around with their paws, something they can jump up and catch in the air. Those sorts of things can be really helpful. Another thing is to think about what you're feeding your cat. So make sure all their nutritional needs are met, and I'll leave you to go and research that or speak to your vet about that, because nutrition is outside of my remit. But we don't want them to be hungry, we don't want them to be lacking anything nutritionally because they might be motivated then to go out and find their own food. So make sure they're on a good, complete diet, and the way in which cats are fed can be really helpful too. So you can, instead of just feeding from a bowl, You can use activity feeders and other ways of feeding that get them engaged, get them stimulated and help use up some of that energy. So Doc and Phoebe have a great feeder which is like lots of different mice, plastic mice that are hollow, and you can just fill it up with dry food and then you can hide these around the house. So your cat has to search for their food, and when they get there they have to like roll it over for the food to fall out. So it's nice and engaged, and it gives them an opportunity to actively get involved with their feeding. I'm a fan of just the food balls as well, just a plastic ball about that big with lots of holes around the edge, and you just fill it with dry food. I like that because they can bat it around and they can chase it, and you can roll it for them and they can pounce on it, and it really feels more like hunting. So that's a really good way of getting them interested in that and activating their hunting systems in a really appropriate way. One final thing is to make sure that if you are attracting wildlife to your garden, then that's not going to be very fair for your cat. So if you're a fan of birds, if you're using feeders or tables, then just bear in mind that that's going to be massively frustrating for your cat, and there's a good chance that they will try to catch the birds. So make sure that these are either in a different part of the garden where the cat doesn't go. So if your cat goes in the back, then put them in the front, or they're really high up, so they're high up in a tree, or they're up on a really tall table, to make sure that your cat can't easily get to them, although I'm sure they'll still try even if they're up there. So just a final message, that when cats bring prey home to their territory, it's not because they hate you or they're being spiteful or they're being annoying, it's because their territory is a safe place and they're just bringing their catch back to a safe place so that they're not under threat from any of the animals outside. But if you have a hunter on your hands, I'm really sorry because I know that's horrible, but let me know in the comments what your experiences are, if you've tried any of these, what's worked for you, and I will see you next time. Have a good day. Bye.